Carole is a former HR director with over 2 decades of experience for some large global medical and defence companies. She's had a long association with alcohol, at its peak regularly drinking over a bottle of spirits a day, and as a result hospitalised for serious health problems. Now, a number of years later, we pick up her story of recovery and her most recent experiences of dealing with substance misuse in the workplace.
My name's Carole, and I used to be an HR director. My alcohol consumption was incredibly controlled. If I drank at the weekends, on the Friday, I call it a peg to hang my hat on. So if I'd had a good week, I'd have a bottle. If I'd had a bad week, I'd have a bottle. I always had a reason. Sometimes I'd drink without it touching the sides. Friday drinking could spill over into Saturday drinking. It all depended on my mood. And it was usually what was happening at work that, let's just say, provided me with the excuse to drink.
Did your alcohol use ever affect your work?
No. Nobody has ever thought that I've had an alcohol problem. At least not in the last 26 years. I've always been very careful. My performance has been stellar. I've been entrusted with significant levels of responsibility. That wouldn't have happened if my employers had known I had a drink problem. I'm absolutely sure of that.
Do you think there's a drinking culture in the workplace?
Culture is all about how we do things here. Now, if how we do things here is go out and get extremely drunk, at management, away days, then, if you've got somebody with a drink problem in the workplace, you're not going to deal with it because it's what's accepted. It really is. But I have to say, it's accepted at senior management level. It might be accepted at middle management level, but when you talk about the shop floor, if you've got somebody with an alcohol problem, then they're treated very, very differently indeed. It's not tolerated at all.
Would anything have changed your mind about telling your employers?
I think I'd have had to be incredibly brave to do so. I would have had to have been convinced that they weren't paying lip service to the support of people with, drink and substance abuse problems. So their actions would have to have spoken louder than their words. In that case, I might have considered it. I've sat across the table from far too many people where I've had to ask them to leave who've had alcohol problems, because that seemed the only recourse to the business, and I found that incredibly difficult. I did my very best for those individuals in terms of supporting them and supporting them out of the business.
Is there enough information for employers to help tackle substance misuse in the workplace?
I don't think people know how to deal with alcohol or substance abuse problems in business, and I'm going to say at all. They really don't. If you find that you have an employee with an alcohol problem, I believe people think that essentially that's the end of the individual's use to the business. They won't recover. They're labelled a problem employee. Whenever there's an issue with their performance, it's always put down to alcohol. That's not necessarily the case.